Let's start with the today's work. What we have to go further today. Today we are going to start with the second unit in which we are going to learn about the random variables and characterization. So this is our topic of today, and in this already we are aware of what we have learned regarding the probability will come into the picture. Means we have not to forgot what we have learned regarding the probability. That will still a part which we are going to use in this random variable. Their characterization. So let us start with the things. Chale. Let us start random variable. Here we are saying what a random variable is a numerical value determined by a chance for each outcome of a procedure. Now, this is the mathematical type of language we are using, but actually, if I have to let you know what we are talking about random variable, so it is just whenever we are talking about the outcome of an experiment. The outcome of an experiment. So if we talk about that we have thrown a dice and how many times this particular number is appearing at the top, correct? So till now we have calculated the probability for that. But actually, if I represent it by a variable, that can take any value depending upon what we are looking for. So that variable is known as a random variable. Here we are saying determined by a chance for each outcome of the procedure. Means whatever procedure we are adopting, either we are working on a dice, we are working with the cards or coins or something else, whatever we are looking for as a value, as an outcome, so that is falling under the term random variable. Let us consider an example. Here I have not taken the simple examples. Till now we have worked for the 2 coins and that thing is already known to us. Correct? You can use this same procedure for the 2 coin or 1 coin also, and I will show you that what random variable actually we are talking about. Here if we say that let us consider a random experiment. Already we are aware of random experiment. Random experiment means whose outcomes are known to us. As if we talk about a single coin I have thrown, I know that either head can appear or tail can appear, but what will appear at the any instant, it is not known. Correct? So that is a random experiment. So here we are talking about 3 coins. Now when 3 coins are to be tossed, what is the sample space? This is the first thing we have done. If we talk about a single coin, then we know what the sample space is. We have head or we have tail. Correct? This is the case for the 1 coin. If I talk about the 2 coins, so that already I have discussed. That's why I have taken an example of 3 coins, so that we will aware of the third scenario also when we have 3 coins. So let us revise. This is for 1 coin. I think all of us know head can appear or tail can appear. If we talk about 2 coins, so what could be the sample space? With head on 1 coin, the another one can have head. Correct? With head on the first coin, the another coin can have tail also. These are the two things. Similarly, if tail is appearing on the first, then what is the chance? On the second coin, tail can also come. And if tail is appearing on the first, then head can also come. I think we are getting it. And this we have already done, that how to write on the sample space for the 2 coins. And here similarly we have written on the 3 coins. Let's discuss this. Here we are saying on the first coin head is appearing, on the second and third also head is appearing. Similarly, head and tail, head tail head. Okay, then we have tail head means whatever the possible combinations are that are possible with the 3 coins that we have written here as a sample space for any random experiment of tossing 3 coins. I think it's okay. Now, what we are looking for, let us do, we are interested in the number of heads in each outcome. When we have thrown the 3 coins, how many heads are appearing? So as I can see here, anyone is possible to appear at the top. Means I have thrown the 3 coins. These are the maximum possibilities. This is what we have learned as a sample space. So if you talk about the number of heads, how many number of heads can come? It could be 3. it could be 2 as this, it could be 2, it could be 2, it could be 1, it could be 1, it could be 1, or might be there is no head. It is possible that on all the 3 coins we are getting tail, tail and tail. Correct? First, let me know if this is clear. Then what we are going to do, if this is okay to us that we have thrown 3 coins, these are the total possible outcomes, then any one of them can appear. Means if we are interested in the number of heads, the number of heads can be 0, it can be 1, it can be 2, or it can be 3 also. Correct now? So here what we are saying, here we are saying let capital X denotes the number of heads in each outcomes. Then what the x values can take? Then at x can take the values. This is what we have written. It could be 3, 2, 1 or 0. Here we have written, because if we talk about the number of heads as we have noted down, so these are the things we are getting here: 3 head, 2 head, 1 head, 1 head. Is whatever the scenario is, either we are getting 0 head, it could be 1 head, 2 head, or all 3 could be the heads. So these are the possibilities. And if we talk about what this is, x is a variable. Variable means it can be 0, 1, 2 or 3, and it is being obtained from a random experiment. So hence it is known as a random variable. Correct? So this is the definition based upon which we are going to do the whole unit. Means in the whole unit we are going to talk about this random variable that can be discrete, that can be continuous. We will study regarding some of the definitions related to it, what are the different functions related to it. We will learn about some of the properties, some questions, and the discrete and continuous type of thing, all regarding this random variable. Correct? So if I have to say in my own layman language, what we can say, when I have done some random experiment, whatever the outcomes are coming in this, what we are looking as a possibility of something, these numerical values can fall or can be written in a variable, and that variable is known as a random variable. If you have any confusion, let me know, because I have told you a new thing, and here I have told you regarding an example. No? So if it is clear how we have obtained it, then we can go to the next thing, because all the things are based upon the definition of what a random variable is. Okay, let me start. If somebody is or anybody is getting any doubt, please be sure to write it in chat box. I will try to discuss with you. Correct? So let us start with the probability distribution. Now here we are saying a description that gives the probability for each value of random variable. What we have done in the last example, you can see a random variable x can have the value 0, 1, 2 or 3. This is what we have. If I express the probability of what is the probability of getting value 0, or what is the probability of getting value 1? Value 1 means what is the probability that I have thrown the 3 coins and the head appear one time. Value 2 means what is the probability when I have thrown the 3 coins and I am getting 2 heads. Correct? Because till now we have discussed that when we are throwing the 3 coins, we are interested in looking for the number of heads that are coming. And as we have seen in the each possible outcomes, the number of heads can either be 0, 1, 2 or 3. So till now we have just written that x can take the value which is 0, 1, 2 or 3. Now the next step is we are going to calculate what is the probability of getting value 0. What is the probability of getting value 1? So if these type of probabilities for each value, okay, one student has written if we will coin 2 coins, then obviously when we are tossing 2 coins, then we have tail tail, head head, head tail, or head tail head head. Correct? So there the values are 0, 1 or 2, the maximum number of heads that can appear. Here we are talking about 3, so it is 0, 1, 2 or 3. Right? And if I tabulate all these probabilities in a table form, then what we are getting is the probability distribution. Let's see. Here we are saying probability of getting 0 head. Now let's go back and find out what is the probability of getting no head. As you can see, this was a sample space. How many total possible are that we have to write down to calculate probability? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Total 8 combinations are there. If we are saying probability of getting no hit, so here we are getting no hit. So what is the probability of getting random variable value is equal to 0, or what is the probability of getting no hit? It is equal to 1 by 8. Out of 8 possibilities, we are getting only one favorable. Similarly, if I talk about what is the probability of getting one hit, can you write down? Okay, let me do. You have to do it for 2. I will ask there. What is the probability of getting only one hit? So I can see here in these three cases, HTT, THT, and TTH. Right? In these three cases, we are getting one hit. So how many events are in favor? 3. And how many are total? The total are still 8. This is how we have to calculate probability. Correct? So can you write down what is the probability of getting 2 hits? Write down the number from in the chat box. I will see. And similarly, what is the probability of getting all 3 hits? Because here we have written, as per the discussion, that x can take the value either 0, it can take the value either 1, 2, or 3. So try out and let me know what is the value. I don't know what is the probability of getting 2 hits. So here you can see how many times 2 hits are coming. Yes, one of the students are getting giving me the answer. All others, I request to write down, please. Praful, it's not 4 by 8, beta. Just check it again. Getting 2 hits. 2 hits, you have to count in how many cases you are getting 2. 2 means exactly 2. You have to take 3, 1. Yes, Himanshu has written correctly. Praful has also corrected. Karthik, good. Yes. Both Himanshu has given me the answers. That's good. It means you are active now. Correct. Chale, this is how we have to do. Means if you are looking for 2 heads, so 2 heads are we are getting here, here, and here. In all these 3 cases, we are getting 2 heads. So what is the probability? Since in 3 cases we are getting 2 heads, so the answer is 3 by 8. No, this is how we have calculated the probability. And for the last one, I think only one, all we have covered. So getting all the 3 hits is only possible in one case. So the probability is 1 by 8. Correct. So this is what we are going to do today. That if we have a random variable, how we are going to calculate the probability. So these are the calculations. Probability of getting x is equal to 0. It's 1 by 8. For x is equal to 1, it's 3 by 8. For x is equal to 2, it's 3 by 8. And for x is equal to 3, it's 1 by 8. Correct? So these are the probabilities that we have obtained. And if I have to write down the probability distribution, that how we can write, this is the way we have to look for what we are looking for. Here we are looking for the number of heads they are coming, and actually if we take head or tail, doesn't matter more, both are giving me the same probability distribution, because we have only two possibilities of getting either head or a tail. So here what we are saying, that if we have the possible number of heads we are counting, so it can be 0, it can be 1, it can be 2, or it can be 3, and their corresponding probabilities are 1 by 8, 3 by 8, 3 by 8, and 1 by 8. So this tabulated form, or you can write down whatever the probabilities you have calculated for the corresponding x values, make the probability distribution for the random variable x. Correct? If you go for your textbooks and reference book, it is S.C. Gupta. From there, you can also see they have discussed regarding 1 coin, 2 coin, and 3 coins. So I have taken 3 coins, but I have discussed regarding 1 and 2 coins. So hope so you are getting the answers that how probability distribution is to be calculated. Okay, one student have asked me, ma'am, according to this concept, if we toss n number of coins, Then what is x? He has written x is 0, 1 up to n minus 1. So Deepta, what you are saying is, if we are talking about the number of heads, because here we have discussed regarding how many heads are appearing in tossing three coins. No? So obviously, if we are tossing n coins, so head can again, in n coins there could be zero head, means might be in all the heads, whatever the n is, we are getting all tails. Might be only one head, only two head, only three head, or it could be maximum of n heads. You are saying up to n minus 1, correct? Because if we are tossing three coins, you can see we have 0, 1, 2, and 3. If you are going to generalize this concept just for your knowledge, for the sake of the knowledge, so here you can see if we have tossed, this is for three coins. So for three coins, we are getting the maximum number of heads that are 3. So if we are saying, if you are tossing n coins, so I will get the values of random variable as 0, because no head is possible, one head is possible up to n head, correct? So this is obviously correct. Done. Chal. So what px is, as we have written px as a notation of probability, so this px is called the probability distribution of the random variable x. So I hope so. Now the concept is clear to you. What is a random variable and what is the probability distribution? Because in the next unit also we are going to learn about the probability distribution, under which we are going to learn about the binomial distribution, Poisson distribution, and normal distribution. So there we will talk directly about let x is a random variable. So here I have clarified. So you have to be very clear about, if you're talking about random variable, so what we are talking about that an random experiment has been done, and whatever the possible outcomes are there, from there we are taking the probabilities of that random variable according to some condition. Correct? Because after this we are going to just take in the definitions, in the questions, whatever the concepts are, that let x is a random variable, and we will start saying all the things. Correct? Now the next thing we have is the types of a random variable. So if we discuss about what are the main types of random variables, so it falls in the category, in the two categories. First is discrete random variable, and the second one is a continuous random variable. Correct? So what we are saying about discrete, a variable that can take any value, which is an integer. Here you have to just focus upon that when we are talking about discrete random variable, it can take an integer value. And I have taken the position in a class which is most suitable to as a student. So what we are saying, integer value, because we know if we are in a class, I can get the first position, second position, third position, fourth position. We can't get the position in the decimals. Ties are possible, but still the position is first position, second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on. So, and we are already aware of what integers are. Integers means those who are not coming in the fraction. So that is a discrete random variable, as we have learned about head and tail. So one value, two value, three value, this is what we are saying now. We are not working in the continuous type of thing. So that is discrete, means just the question we have discussed is an example of the discrete random variable. Another type that we have is continuous random variable. So what is continuous random variable? A variable that can take any value between the range. Any value between the range means, if I talk about the height of the student studying in my class, so what is the weight of the student studying in my class, then is it so that height will be 4 feet or 5 feet or 6 feet? No, no. It could be anything. It could be 5 feet 2 centimeters, or 5 feet 2 inches, whatever the things are. So here we can write down in the decimals also. Correct? So continuity or continuous random variable is when the things are not the integers, but the fractions can also come into the picture. Correct? Because height, and so again the next example we are talking about is weight. So normally when we go to the either digital weighing machine or the normal pointer one, we know that here we have not the exact weight. Exact means we can't have only 50 kg or 54 kg. Obviously, it could be 54.5 also, it can be 52.3 also. So, the students, those who are studying, if in my class I have to write down their weights and heights, they are not the exactly integers. They could be any value between a certain range. Correct. If I talk about the normal height, so we know that the normal height of the students, those are graduate students, can lie from the 5 feet to 6 feet, or if not, then we can take 4 feet to 6 feet. Correct. All the student, maximum of the students will lie in this range. So here we are talking about the range because any value, it could be 4.9, it could be 5.2 or 5.23 also if you are working on the digital one. Correct. So here, okay, one student is saying continuous variable can be integer. No, continuous variable, random variable, if I make you correct, continuous random variable cannot be an integer. Obviously, if we talk about that, it could be 4 feet. Obviously, it is, but here we are talking about that the values are lying in a range. Let me make it more clear. Suppose I'm saying that the height of my students in my class are lying from 5 to 6. Farhan, you want to say something? So here what I will say, that the height will lie from 5 to 6. So obviously it is an integer 5 and it is an integer 6, but in between whatever the values are coming, they will also lie. So it is an integer, but actually we are not learning it in this way. That's why for discrete we have written that they are integers, means 4 5 6 whatever the things are. For continuous it could be an integer also, but we are defining it as a range. Okay, 5 भी आ सकता है, 6 can also be there. Correct? Means integer values are also coming, but fractions are allowed. So how we are learning it, we are saying that the values will fall in a particular range. So this is how we are saying it. Let us say an example, and you all have to give me the answer. They are funny and they are just to make the concept clear. Here we are saying the number of eggs that a hen lays. Is it discrete or continuous? Write any answer, please. For discrete, D is
Discrete,
obvious.
ma'am.
Discrete. Himanshu is saying discrete. What about others? Is it continuous or discrete?
Ma'am, discrete.
Discrete, correct. Let's see what others are saying. I think most of you are saying discrete. No, discrete, correct. Then most of you are saying discrete, so I admit it is discrete because if I say that today my hen has given me 1.5 egg, it's not possible now. So that's why we are saying discrete. And a continuous, obviously, we are talking about that hen give me an average of 4 to 5 eggs. And that would be okay. But still, it is not possible to have a 4 and something lying over there. It's either 4 or 5 or whatever the hand is giving us. Chali, let's go to another example. Here we are saying the amount of milk that a cow produces. We know that when a milkman take out the milk from the cow, uh, it's not exact amount. It can be, it is measured in gallons, and it could be any, means some drops are there, whatever the quantity is there. Is it a perfect number, a discrete one, or continuous?
Ma'am,
Continuous.
continuous.
Continuous, correct. Most of you have given me the answer, and that's good. Is it clear? What is the distinction? Means obviously it could be 2 gallons also. Might be today my cow has given 2 gallons of milk, but still we are not sure because might be there are some more drops that I have not counted and said okay it's near about 2 gallons. So these type of things when happen, and we call this is falling under the category of continuous random variable. Correct. So this is how we are going to say the distinction about the discrete and the continuous one. Chali. Let's start with the more example, and it is just to elaborate the same thing. Here we are saying in the tossing of a coin, we have x is equal to 0, 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever the things are. So these are the discrete random variable. And if we are talking about, here we have taken another example that in a classroom, all the students got marks in a particular subject that lies between 50 to 90. So obviously the marks can be 60 also, 70 also, 80 also, but here we are saying the marks are lying in 50 to 90, because as a teacher sometimes you got 50.5 also, 89.9 also, it depends upon the marking. So here if we are defining it like this, that the marks are lying from 50 to 90, so it is a continuous random variable. Correct. So these are some more examples, and you can think about more examples, because this is the work that we are going to start in the uh, next class with the examples, more and more examples, along with the more definitions. So be sure to open your mind for the new properties and concepts to come. This is the simplest one that we are learning today. So here again we have some definitions, because if examination somebody asks you, then how you will define. So here we are saying a random variable is discrete if it can assume only a finite or countably infinite number of values. In other words, real valued function, it's a mistake. A real valued function defined on a discrete sample space is called a discrete random variable. Discrete sample space, obviously, when we can write down that these are the values, and whatever the values are, they are lying in any of these value, means they are getting these as possible outcome. Correct. Similarly, we have defined the continuous random variable. A random variable is continuous if its set of possible values is an entire interval of numbers. In other words, it is said to be continuous when its different values can't be put in one-to-one correspondence with the set of positive integers. So these are some mathematical definition. If the concept is clear, that is to be used when you are going to answer an MCQ or you are going to solve a problem. And if you have to write down in the examination regarding mathematical point of view, so these are the definition that you have to answer with. Any definition you can choose, both are correct. I have taken one from my old notes, the PPT, and one I have taken in the last night I have prepared from the SC Gupta, which is your course book. Correct. So both definitions are written over here. So it is up to you.
Ma'am, that book is available, ma'am, soft copy.
Yeah, it's available. If you want to have, I can upload it also.
Ma'am, can you upload it? Yes, ma'am.
But
Ma'am,
I
we
will
will
try.
practice.
I
Yes,
can
ma'am.
try, because it is near about 50 MB. If it is possible to upload it on the LPU Live, I can do,
Or
because
you
UMS
can share also the link, ma'am, where that is available. We can download.
can do.
Yes.
Let me upload it on my Google Drive, and I will share the link with you. Correct?
Okay, ma'am.
Chale. Because it's a book of near about 1,000 above pages. So let me try if it is possible to upload in the LPO Live. Obviously, it's a good thing for you also. Otherwise, I will share it on Google Drive. Chale. Let's start with the next thing. Till now, we have learned about two things: what a random variable is, and the second thing, what we know about the probability distribution. Correct? Now, we are going to learn about a new type of function which is called distribution function. Correct? Three things we have learned. First is random variable. I think it's clear to us. Random variable means a variable that can hold the numerical value regarding some conditions that we are saying in a possible outcome way. Second thing we have learned is the probability distribution that has to be explored more. It is both the definition we have learned. And the third thing we are going to start with today is the distribution function. Okay? So here you can see we have started with let x be a random variable. This is what I am saying there, that from now onwards we will say just like this. Okay? Let x is a random variable, then fx of x. Now what this capital X is? Capital X is here denoting the random variable, and what this small x is here, the small x is denoting the value that x can take. As if I told you that x was taking the value in the example of 3 coins as 0, 1, 2, 3. Correct. So here these 0, 1,
Hmm.
2, 3, whatever the values a capital X can take, they are represented as small x. Correct. So here we have written fx of x, the distribution function of a random variable capital X, is given by the probability that capital X is less than equal to X, the probability that X can take the value which is less than equal to X. Correct? And this is the definition called as a distribution function, and we denote it as d dot f. It's dot, called as a distribution function of X. Correct? This is what we have as a new definition. Now we have some properties also, because we
Ma'am,
are
what
getting
is small x?
small x with a, here I have shown you that capital X is a random variable that can take the value 0, 1, 2, 3, and whatever values it can take, that is small x. For example, let me take what is the probability, let me write down what is the probability that on tossing 3 coins, these are the x values, no? That the random variable can take the value which is
अरे जो आएगी
less than
उसके
equal
बाद
to 2. Correct? Less than equal to 2 means we can have 0 or 1 or 2. So how we can calculate it? Here we are going to take probability that the value of capital X is equal to 0. What is or means on tossing the 3 coins, I can get a value which is either 0 head or 1 head or 2 head. So if we are talking about probability of X less than equal to 2, so this is what small x signifies. Small x here is taking the value that capital X can take. Is it fine? Okay, Afridi is saying to repeat. Okay, let me again repeat it. Till now we have learned about the random variables and probability distribution. Now we are saying if capital X, the random variable can take certain values, as in the example, it could be 0, 1, 2, 3. So what is the probability that a random variable has a value which is less than equal to some particular value? So if I take this probability, then this is known as the distribution function of capital X, the random variable. Here I have taken an example. If in case of 3 coins, we have learned that capital X can take value 0, 1, 2 or 3. So these are the values that capital X can take. In case I have asked you calculate the probability that number of heads appearing on tossing the 3 coins are either 0 or 1 or 2. Correct? Or I can say what is the probability of getting the number of heads which are less than equal to 2. So it is probability of X is equal to 0, either this or this or this. So if I take the sum, then this function, whatever is coming, is known as a distribution function. Hope so it is clear. Correct? It is just the definition. You have to just learn that distribution function is given by probability of capital X less than equal to X, which is known as a distribution function. After that, we have some properties. The proofs are not in our course, so we have to just learn what the properties are, because sometimes while doing the numericals, it come into the picture that we have to use it. So what the first property is, we are saying if f is a distribution function, this is we are using now the abbreviation. Similarly for the random variable, we are saying if f, capital F, is the distribution function of random variable x, and if a is less than b. Now what a and b are, here again we are denoting whatever possible outcomes are. Here I have taken small x now. So the same thing here we have taken a or b, means whatever the values x can take. So here we are saying that probability that x value is less than greater than a and less than equal to b is given by fb minus fa. Correct? It means what we are doing, we are taking the probability of capital X less than equal to b. This is what the definition of fb is saying. You can check from here. This is what we are saying. If it is f of small x, it is equal to probability that capital X is less than equal to x. So here we are saying probability that capital X is less than equal to b minus probability of capital X less than equal to a. As we are saying, what is the probability that the capital X will take the value from a to b. Correct? Second property we are saying, if f is a distribution function of one dimensional random variable, then fx always lie between 0 and 1, as we have learned in the case of probability also, that probability value is always lying between 0 to 1. So obviously, the distribution function also lies between 0 to 1. It can be maximum 1 and minimum 0. Other thing we are saying, if x and y are two values, then obviously distribution function of f of x is less than equal to distribution function of y if x is less than y. If x is less than y, then we have this. Correct? Another property we are saying, if f is a distribution function of one-dimensional random variable x, then f of minus infinity is 0, because we know this is the minimum value, and here we are saying till minus infinity. So this is the minimum value that can we have. Similarly, if I take the value of infinity, the distribution function of infinity, then it will take the maximum value, which is 1. Okay? So you have to just learn these definition. Either it can be asked in MCQ, or it will appear as a part when we are going through some examples. There we can use these things. Correct? Now we have two more definitions, and two more definitions are coming into the picture for discrete as well as for continuous. Here we have learned the definition what the distribution function is. Correct? Now onwards we are going to learn two definition for discrete random variable and two definition for the continuous random variable. Okay? So here we are saying first about the discrete random variable. What the definition is, we are talking about probability mass function. We are saying probability distribution or probability mass function Px of a discrete random variable is a rule such that we can say Px is a notation we are using for the probability mass function. What Px is? Px is a probability that capital X is equal to X, such that Px is always greater than 0, greater than equal to 0, and summation of all Px is 1. So actually it is nothing different. We are talking about the probability of capital X, the random variable, to take the value X. Correct? And here we are representing it by Px. And whenever we are working with a discrete case, it is probability mass function. I will show you the next to next slide where we have continuous random variable, and in that case this mass will be represented by density. It will be replaced by density when we have the continuous random variable. So this is the change we are going to learn. The definitions are almost similar. Here we are doing the summation because we have discrete values, so I can sum them up, and again the things are same, that sum of all the probabilities is 1. Px means the probability of any of the random variable value will be greater than equal to 0. Correct? So here instead of this notation that probability of capital X is equal to X, we are taking small px, and this is known as probability mass function. Till now we have learned about the distribution function. It is still the same, and we are talking about again discrete, and here we have written cumulative distribution function. So here I am going to present it by
क्लास चल रही है भाई, बाद में बात करना.
capital F
क्लास
is
चल रही है,
equal
बाद
to
में बात करना.
probability of capital X less than equal to X. So it is same thing that we have learned in the last slide, the distribution function. Here I have just given a name, cumulative distribution function. Capital Fx for a discrete random variable with what PMF is. PMF is denoting probability mass function that we have learned here, because it's not easy to write on the whole. So you can see here the abbreviation probability mass function we can write on PMF. Means for random variable we are going to use R dot V, for distribution function D dot F, for probability mass function either you could do P dot M dot F. It's up to you. It depends upon author to author, and here the author have used PMF, probability mass function. Correct? So here we have CDF for cumulative distribution function, and the definition saying Fx is equal to probability of capital X less than equal to X. The properties are still the same. It means already we have learned. Here just we are revising it for the discrete random variable under the name cumulative distribution function. Correct? So the properties are for x tends to minus infinity, fx is 0. For x tends to infinity, fx is 1. And this is same property there we have learned, that if a is less than b, then fa is less than b. One more thing which I want to clarify here, That here sometimes and in some books you will say less than equal to sign, and in some books and by some author it is the less than sign. So it depends upon author to author, but it doesn't matter you are taking greater than equal to or greater than, similarly less than equal to or less than sign, because here we are including both. If you are talking about capital X is equal to X, obviously it is included. Correct. Now the last two slides and I will finish, because today we have learned a lot of definitions. So from next term we are going to start the numericals where all things will be clarified. I think more slides are there, but I think it's enough for today. So let's start with the last two slides where we are discussing about continuous random variable. Again, as I have told you here, that in the discrete random variable we are talking about probability mass function. The same definition if we talk about in continuous random variable, then it is probability density function, because sometimes student got confused that it is mass or density and for what thing, you know. And here we have seen that we have talked about the summation. In the next, the continuous, because continuity is there, we are talking about the integration. This is the most important thing I can say to take care about. Otherwise the definition is same, that probability distribution or probability density function pdf of the continuous random variable is a real value function fx such that probability that capital X lie between a to b. Now here we have a range now that we have seen. In case of discrete we have a value, here we have a range because a continuous type of thing always lies in a range. So here we are saying capital X value lie from a to b, that probability is given by integration a to b fx dx. Right? And this is known as a probability density function. And here we are talking about the properties of this fx. What we are saying, that fx always greater than or equal to 0 for the value of x lying between minus infinity to infinity. Obviously x can maximum go from minus infinity to infinity, and for all these values fx is greater than or equal to 0. This is one thing. Second thing we are saying, as we have learned that the sum of all the probability is always 1. Here we are saying integration of minus infinity to infinity fx dx is always 1. Correct? And one more thing we have written, the probability of x is equal to c is equal to 0 for c belongs to real number. I'm not sure what okay, I will discuss about it later on. I'm not sure that what here we are going to say, because here if we are saying probability of x is equal to c is equal to 0 and c belongs to r, it doesn't mean to me. So I will clarify it later on. Otherwise, according to me, I have never seen this. Might be I have copied this from this book, so there the definition is written, but I am not aware of this property. Correct. So for the timing, let us ignore it, and till two definitions must be clear to you. So we have learned about the discrete random variable where probability mass function is there. Here in the continuous, probability density function is there. Correct. Similarly, we have the definition of cumulative distribution function CDF. So again, we are going to take the integration. Fx, the CDF is given by probability of capital X less than equal to x, which is equal to minus infinity to x fy dy for x lie from minus infinity to infinity. Properties are still the same, as limit x tends to minus infinity fx is 0 and x tends to infinity fx is 1. This property is also same, that if a is less than b, then fa is less than equal to fb, or it could be if a is less than equal to b, fa is less than equal to fb. If you are talking about the probability of x lying from a to b, this property you can note down, because sometime we will use this in the formula, that what is the probability of capital X lying from A to B. How we can calculate? We can take probability of X less than equal to B minus probability of X less than equal to A, and then it is given by FB minus FA. Correct? And frankly speaking, these things either could be asked as a question for these first two properties, because this is common if it will be asked in MCQ, or mostly we are focusing upon the numericals. means we have been provided with a function, and we are maybe you can say a scenario, a situation, and we are looking for the probability distribution, or we are looking for what is a PDF or what is CDF. These type of things can be asked. So I have added a numerical, but I think we are not going to do that because it will take a lot of time. Four parts are there for this example. So whatever we have learned today, if I talk about it, so we have learned about more of the time what random variable is, its characterization include what the properties are related to it as probability distribution we have learned. Then we have learned that there are two types of random variable, discrete and continuous. For discrete we have probability density function, for continuous we have probability mass function, and in the starting we have learned just what is the meaning of the discrete and what is the meaning of the continuous. Correct. So let me stop. If you have any doubt, you can ask me, or we are going to discuss tomorrow with the examples.